Part 1. Jake's first day at the office. Jake is a 22-year-old man who lives in Chicago. He just graduated from college and was looking for a job for a few months. Last week, he received a phone call. A company wanted to hire him for an office assistant position. Jake was very happy and nervous. This would be his first real job. On Monday morning, Jake woke up early. He took a shower, brushed his teeth, and wore a clean shirt and pants. He wanted to look professional. He left his apartment at 7:15 a.m. and took the bus to the office. The bus was full of people going to work. Jake arrived at the office building at 7:50 a.m. The building was big and modern. He felt a little nervous but also excited. He took the elevator to the 5th floor. When the doors opened, a woman smiled and said, "Good morning. You must be Jake." Her name was Lisa. She was the office manager. Lisa showed Jake around the office. She introduced him to his coworkers. "This is Mark from sales. This is Nina from accounting." Everyone said hello and smiled. Jake was happy. The people seemed friendly and helpful. Lisa led Jake to his desk. It was next to a big window. There was a computer, a phone, and some office supplies. "This is your space," Lisa said. "If you need anything, just ask." Jake nodded and thanked her. He sat down, looked around, and smiled. He was ready to begin his new journey. Part 2. Meeting the team and getting started. Jake sat at his desk, feeling both excited and a little nervous. He turned on his computer and looked at the login screen. Lisa came by and gave him his username and password. "Try logging in," she said. Jake typed slowly and carefully. The computer welcomed him with a soft chime. Lisa showed him how to open the company email, how to use the calendar, and where to find files. Everything was new, but Jake tried to remember each step. He wrote notes in a small notebook to help him later. Soon, more coworkers came to say hello. Mark from sales stopped by and said, "Hey Jake, welcome aboard." He was friendly and joked a little. Then Nina, a quiet woman from accounting, waved from across the room. Jake smiled and waved back. Everyone seemed kind and supportive. At 10 a.m., Lisa brought Jake into a small room for training. She showed him how to answer phone calls, transfer calls, and write messages. They practiced together. Jake picked it up quickly, though he made a few small mistakes. "That's okay," Lisa said. "You're doing well." After the training, Jake returned to his desk. There was already a task waiting in his inbox. A client had emailed a question about an order. Jake read the message twice and started to reply. He kept it short and polite. He checked his grammar before sending it. He felt proud when he clicked send. It was his first real work at the new job. He looked out the window, saw the cars moving below, and smiled to himself. He was finally part of the working world. Part 3. A small mistake. On Wednesday, Jake came to work feeling more confident. He remembered his tasks from the last 2 days and started his morning routine. At 9:30 a.m., Lisa asked him to send an important report to a client. Jake opened the file, checked the content, and attached it to the email. He quickly wrote a message and clicked send. But a minute later, he realized something was wrong. He had sent the wrong file. He felt panic rise inside him. Jake quickly told Lisa, "I'm really sorry," he said. "I sent the wrong document." Lisa looked serious for a moment but nodded. "It's okay. Mistakes happen. Let's fix it." She helped Jake send a new email with the correct file and an apology. The client replied a few minutes later and said, "No problem. Thanks for the update." Jake felt relieved. Lisa smiled and said, "Next time, double-check before sending." "But you handled it well." Jake nodded and wrote double-check attachments in his notebook. He learned a valuable lesson that day. Even small mistakes can be fixed if you act quickly and honestly. Part 4. Coffee break conversations. By the end of his first week, Jake was starting to feel more comfortable. He was getting used to the daily schedule and how things worked in the office. On Friday morning during the coffee break, he sat with Mark and Nina in the break room. Mark talked about his favorite sports team, and Nina shared a story about her cat. Jake laughed and told them about a funny thing that happened at his college. It was a relaxed moment, and Jake felt like he was becoming part of the team. Mark asked, "How are you liking the job so far?" Jake smiled and said, "I really like it. Everyone has been so nice." Nina nodded. "It takes time to learn everything, but you're doing great." They finished their coffee and went back to work. Jake was happy to have people he could talk to. It made the office feel more like a friendly place, not just a job. Part 5. Learning New Skills. The next week, Lisa asked Jake if he wanted to learn how to create a weekly report. "It's a bit more advanced, but I think you're ready," she said. Jake agreed and followed Lisa to her computer. She showed him how to use a spreadsheet, enter data, and create simple charts. At first, it looked complicated, but Lisa explained it step by step. Jake practiced by creating a report for last week's sales. It took him longer than expected, but he finished it. Lisa checked his work and said, "Nice job. Just clean up the format a little next time." Jake was proud. He had learned something completely new. He felt more useful and more confident in his abilities. Part 6. A busy Monday. Monday morning was very busy. The phone was ringing non-stop, and Jake had several emails to answer. A delivery arrived, and he had to sign for it. Then a visitor came to the office, and Jake greeted him and offered coffee. By lunchtime, Jake was tired. He sat at his desk, took a deep breath, and opened his sandwich. Lisa passed by and said, "You handled the morning really well." Jake smiled and nodded. Even though it was stressful, Jake realized he could manage busy days. He just needed to stay calm and organized. Part 7. A helpful hand. On Wednesday afternoon, Nina was struggling with a printer issue. Jake noticed and offered to help. He had dealt with a similar problem in college. Together, they fixed the issue, and Nina was grateful. "You saved me," she laughed. Jake felt good about being able to help. Later, Mark asked Jake how he fixed it, and Jake explained the steps. It was a small moment, but it made Jake feel more valuable to the team. Part 8. The Office Party. On Friday, the office had a small party for a coworker's birthday. There was cake, music, and laughter. Jake joined the group and talked with people he hadn't spoken to before. He learned more about his coworkers' hobbies and lives. It was a good time, and Jake felt more connected to the people around him. Lisa raised her glass and said, "Let's thank Jake for a great start." Everyone clapped, and Jake blushed. He felt happy and appreciated. Part 9. Facing a challenge. One morning, a client called and was very upset about a mistake in an invoice. Jake took the call. The client was loud and angry. Jake listened patiently, took notes, and stayed calm. He told the client he would fix the issue and talk to accounting. After a quick check, he found the error, corrected it, and emailed the updated invoice. The client later called back and said, "Thanks for fixing that quickly." Jake smiled. He had faced a tough moment and handled it well. Part 10. Growing confidence. A month had passed since Jake started the job. He was no longer nervous every morning. He walked into the office with confidence, greeted everyone, and began his work with a clear mind. He was now able to handle calls, write reports, help coworkers, and solve problems. Lisa noticed his progress and said, "You've grown a lot, Jake. We're lucky to have you here." Jake thanked her. He looked out the same big window by his desk. This time he didn't feel like a beginner anymore. He felt like he truly belonged.